After the death of his father, Jango Fett on Geonosis, Boba Fett began to follow in his footsteps and traverse the galaxy as one of the best bounty hunters alive. Throughout his time as a bounty hunter, Boba never cared much for objects or keepsakes, with the exception of his father's armor, but that was all about to change on one fateful day when Boba became deeply attached to a single object, more than any he has ever touched: the helmet he wore throughout the Clone Wars. So how did he get it? Let's find out. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe for more awesome Star Wars lore content. So the story begins inside of a very dodgy cantina where Boba, Bossk, Latz-Razzi, and Dengar are enjoying a drink. On one of the very rare breaks that they get, Boba is sitting admiring with pure glee the helmet sitting in front of him. He thinks to himself, "I've never cared much for objects. When it comes to keepsakes, I'm just not that sentimental. Well, with the exception of my father's armor." Boba continues on deep in his own thought, wondering why most bounty hunters waste their lives in pursuit of the perfect weapon and the perfect payday. Two goals that they believe will bring them happiness. In his own mind, Boba scoffs at the idea and knows that he only takes bounties because he needs the credits. He needed credits to stay ahead of the Jedi and was willing to use whatever tool he could use to finish the mission. But that was before the Kurasa job. On that one rainy day, everything changed for Boba Fett, and his outlook on life and the purpose of bounty hunting for him was altered forever. On that day, he learned to take pleasure in the little things and some lessons that would stick with him for life. Just as he remembers this, Boba's mind is jolted violently back into a memory of the Kurasa job where he is just about to enter the target facility of his mission. The mission happens to be on the dark, rainy world of Kamino in the heart of Tamira City, a city of secrets nestled in the arms of a planet of storms. Boba has a team of fellow bounty hunters with him for the mission, being Bossk and C-21 Highsinger. As the group of bounty hunters approach their entrance point on the platforms of Kamino, Boba instructs the others to follow his lead and obey a strict noise protocol from now on to avoid detection. And Boba squarely points this comment at Bossk. Bossk is annoyed by this and asks, "What about the droid?" Boba, however, responds to this by telling him that Highsinger is not exactly the talkative type, and that's why they get along so well. Highsinger groans at Boba before displaying his extremely well-equipped arsenal of weapons and showing Boba that his body contains a vast array of tracking sensors specifically for this mission. While this is happening, a Sullustan man by the name Nub Jakak approaches the clone trooper guards of Kamino, who question why he took so long to return to the planet after going on his mysterious mission. Nub responds to the clones, telling him that he and his crew had some calibration issues and had to make a maintenance stop on the moon Kurasa, which was the third moon of Kamino. He notes to the clone troopers that when he landed, his ship's weight was still a little bit over the limit, almost like he was being followed and had stowaways on board. Of course, he did. The moment he finishes this sentence, Highsinger leaps out of his cover and faces down the clone guards, leaving them completely confused. How could a bounty hunter break through to the heart of the Republic's military creation and training center? Moments later, Highsinger brutally shreds through the weapons of the clone troopers, literally disintegrating them as he swipes, giving the troopers absolutely no chance at fighting back. The commanding officer then orders the clone trooper Seeker to rush away from the bounty hunters and sound the alarm so that the base can be warned. But the bounty hunters aren't going to let this happen easily. Bossk then arrives on the scene and lifts the Sullustan man up, hurling him meters away onto the cold, hard platform, while Highsinger knocks two of the troopers out cold by smashing their heads together. As Nub Jakak is flying through the air, he lands right on the other clone trooper, also knocking him out. Boba is not impressed with just how loud and risky that approach was, but Bossk defends himself, saying he was forced to improvise since all of his other weapons make big booms and bangs. Brushing this off, Boba and the crew rush through the gates of Tamira City, ready to conduct their mysterious heist. While this is happening, Master Plo and Shaak Ti are having a conversation inside of the secure complex of the base, where Shaak Ti requests to join a protection detail for some ancient shrine relics, which are somehow calling to her through the Force. Shaak Ti tells Plo Koon that she feels a strong stirring in the Force coming from the recently discovered ancient Mandalorian artifacts, and because of this, she must be the one to guard them. Plo Koon notes that the finding of these Mandalorian artifacts was a very rare and very lucky accomplishment. Two of the items in the collection came from the moon of Kurasa, where we know the Sullustan from earlier just came from with a delivery. The specialists inside of the artifact vault have literally been so captured by the beauty and the mystery of the relics that they haven't left the vault in 5 days. After overhearing this confirmation, Boba Fett knows he's in luck and has just stumbled across one of the largest and most expensive artifact collections in the galaxy. Or I should say outside of the galaxy, since Kamino is not even in the galaxy. At this point, Boba and his crew know they must make secrecy a priority if they want to claim the mythical Blade of Beginnings, a priceless Mandalorian relic from many millennia ago. Before Boba can enact his quiet and careful approach to the heist, he is unfortunately greeted by a huge boom coming from near the Jedi. Unfortunately for him, he's not the only one who managed to get the intel about a massive artifact collection on Kamino. Instead, Dengar and Latsratsi have teamed up to take a more explosive approach to the heist, trying to take their desired relics by sheer force. Bosk immediately recognizes the two as rivals and is almost ready to give up on fetching these relics because of the extreme danger the other two bounty hunters have now put them in by being so chaotic. Boba, however, urges Bosk to put his weapon down and continue on with the mission as planned, because a good distraction is just as effective as stealth. This competition simply raises the stakes. In response to this, Plo Koon sounds the alarm, hoping the clone detail for the facility will lock down the vault full of relics, and in the meantime, he and Shaak Ti prepare themselves for a showdown with the bounty hunter teams. Dengar then aims his blaster squarely at Shaak Ti, firing as rapidly as he can, and calls over to Latsratsi, warning her to take down the Jedi fast, since they have a nasty habit of pulling tricks from their sleeves. And those robes have a lot of sleeve. This sends Shaak Ti into a state of maximum defense, swinging her blue blade rapidly in every direction, and scoffing at Dengar, telling him that frontal attacks are pointless against a Jedi. After hearing this, Latsratsi has a different plan. She calls out, "What about a sideways attack?" before using her boa to wrap around Shaak Ti's wrists, causing her to drop both of her blades and be left completely defenseless. In desperation, she calls out to Master Plo for a little assistance, to which he rapidly ignites his own lightsaber and severs the boa. As Plo does this, he taunts Ratsi, telling her, "We encourage such tactics, Hunter. For all of your efforts, you've simply sacrificed a weapon." While the fight rages on, Boba Fett takes the stealthier approach, remaining hidden, offering to sacrifice his own weapon. One they won't see coming until it's too late. Boba then unleashes a large swarm of buzz droids, knowing that there are very few fighting units as effective as a swarm of buzz droids, especially one that's been reprogrammed not to target Boba and his crew. As this is happening, a squad of clone troopers rush down to see what's going on, with the commander ordering his men to ready their weapons for a very serious firefight, and they are shocked to find so many droids. One of the privates warns his commanding officer that the buzz droids are even coming through the walls now, to which he is slapped down and told not to whine about it. Moments later, the commander gets separated from the group, and the private shouts out, "Sorry commander, but you're on your own for now. We've been ambushed and can't bring up support." As he says this, Master Plo and Shaak Ti rush up to him and tell him that he has no need to explain himself, because they're all on the same wavelength. While the chaos of the fight is occupying the Jedi and the clone troopers, Boba and his crew manage to find the entrance to the vault after all this time. Dengar and Latsratsi notice this, and Dengar is not going to let a kid get the better of him, so he rushes off to enter the vault. This then alerts Plo Koon and Shaak Ti, who badly want to get to the vault to stop them, but know that if they do that, a lot more than just artifacts are going to be destroyed in this platform city. A short while after, Boba, Bosk and Highsinger manage to get into the vault of Mandalorian artifacts and are in amazement at what they find. Despite this, the one major item that they were looking for, the Blade of Beginnings, isn't immediately in sight, causing Bosk to panic. Boba, however, has a handy little trick up his sleeve. He tells Bosk that the whole reason they forced that Sullustan freighter to land on Kurasa was because he needed a handful of specific moon dust with revealing properties. Boba then sprinkles the very fine sand over the empty spot on the display, revealing the ancient Mandalorian weapon, the Blade of Beginnings. The moment he does this, Dengar and Lats find their way into the main storage room of the vault, and they give Boba and his crew an ultimatum. Either they hand over the blade, or he'll put a blaster bolt between Boba's eyes and take the blade from his cold, dead hands. Boba, however, tells Dengar that he should prime his weapon before tough talking, and then throws a flurry of smoke grenades, which activate the smoke alarms, causing Dengar to panic. At this point, Dengar shoots a flurry of blaster bolts at Boba, and he is moments away from having one go right through his head, but by sheer luck and good timing, Boba manages to take the ancient Mandalorian helmet from the display, and it deflects the blaster bolt away, saving his life. Boba is left in a state of shock, not even being able to respond properly to Bosk's pleas to leave the building, because he knows just how close he was to death. A while later, after the dust settles, Latsratsi and Dengar are arrested by the Republic, and Plo Koon commends Shaak Ti for her good work, although he is disappointed that they lost the relics. But Shaak Ti tells Master Plo that they actually lost nothing. After studying the relics, they found them all to be fake. The shoddy markings on all of the relics gave it away. And to end the story, Boba and his crew get away from the scene, with Boba leaving one small detail hidden from Bosk. He didn't tell him that one of these fakes was worth its weight in credits. A helmet that could reflect a blaster bolt would come in handy. With a helmet like this, one day even the Jedi would fear the name Boba Fett. And from that day on, the helmet held incredible sentimental value to Boba for saving his life on that fateful day. So that is how Boba Fett got his helmet from the Clone Wars. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.